many people have asked me for tips on show etiquette, which is a little bit strange to me for a couple reasons. Number one, I don't go to very many shows anymore, so I feel like I'm in the stage of life where I just stand in the back on my phone, sort of waiting for the show to be over. I'm in my dad phase now. Even though my son is only 5 months old, I feel like when I do go to a show, I feel like I'm just waiting for him to be done so I can drive him home. That being said, I have been to a lot of shows, so I feel like I have a point of view on this, but the part to me that's a little bit weird about it is like, I don't know, the idea of like show etiquette is strange to me. Like, I don't know, here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. You know what's wrong with this generation? You know what's wrong with young people these days? They respect the rules. That's the problem. Your goal at a show should be to become the biggest a-hole at the show, not to respect the rules and follow instructions and look for direction and support from authority figures. No, your goal should be to destroy the venue so they can never have shows there again. And everyone will complain about how that one time at that one show, they tore the lights off the walls and threw the chairs through the front window. And now we can never have hardcore shows in this town again. That's what you should be trying to do at a show, in my opinion. However, it's a different world. You know, the kids these days, you know, they've been coddled a little bit too much. They want to play it safe. You know, it's the world we live in now. I get it. That's right. The problem with kids these days, they don't know anything about disrespecting their surroundings. That's the problem. So today we'll talk about how to not be an a-hole at concerts. We'll start here and talk about Loudwire's 10 ways to not be an a-hole. And then I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I've got a few more as well. So this one is from Lauren Schaffner. Shout out to Lauren. And so this is based on a survey that they did earlier, but we'll talk about these here. So the number one way to not be an a-hole at shows, according to this article, is don't hold your phone up the entire show. We get it. It's the age of social media and you want to show off that you saw your favorite band or you just want to have some photos and videos as a way to record the event. That's fine, but try not to hold your device up in a way that blocks other views and don't hold it up the entire time. My thoughts on this are, number one, I agree with this. How else am I going to record a video I'll never watch? Number one, yes, is like, are you ever going to watch this? You're not going to watch it. You're never going to watch it. You know, just put up a story if you want, an Instagram story, and then just be done with it. However, listen, people, I'm a rebel, okay? Because I'm a Gen Xer, and you know what Gen Xers do? We rebel against authority figures. You say, I can't hold up my phone the entire show. I say, fuck you. I'm going to hold up my fucking phone the whole time with the flashlight on right in your fucking eyes. Like, yes, obviously people on their phone the whole time at a show, it's kind of like, I don't know, whatever, makes me roll my eyes. But then there's this stuff like ghost banning phones at shows and people like complaining about phones at shows. It's like, fuck off, man. Like, why do you care so much if someone has their phone out at a show? You know what I mean? I feel like the boomerish complaining about phones at shows is worse than phones at shows. Like, I don't know, just don't pay attention to the person with their phone out, I guess is how I feel about it. Now, I will say, when it comes to people using their phone at the movies, those people deserve some very serious physical punishment. You know, back in the day, like in Persia or whatever, if you were a thief, you know, if you stole, I don't know, a banana from the market, they would cut your hand off, right? I feel like that's what they should do at movie theaters if you're texting during the movie. The usher should just come by with like a really sharp sword and just whack, just take your hand off right there. At the very least, they should go to jail. You are a horrible person if you use your phone during a movie. A show, though, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like it's really not that big of a deal if people are using their phone at shows, personally, but I don't know. That's just me, and I'm a boomer at this point, so maybe I don't know. Number 2 is don't spill your drink on people. Alcohol is sold at concerts for a reason. Plenty of people enjoy having some drinks while listening to their favorite songs, and that's completely understandable, but getting drunk to the point where you're spilling your drink on other people just isn't fair. Now, again, maybe this is because I grew up going to hardcore shows. I don't know. For example, I remember in 1998, I went to a show on Valentine's Day. This band called Pit Boss 2000 played, and he was swinging a golf club around on stage, and he whacked some girl in the head, and nobody really thought anything of it. Just like, oh, well, you know, it's the kind of thing that happens at shows. I don't want alcohol spilled on me, but I don't know, how many times have I been at like a punk show where there's some like asshole crust punk with a 40 like spilling it around? I don't know. Like, I feel like people just want shows to be like the fucking library or something. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't want people spilling their drink on me. But on the other hand, I don't know. It feels like they want shows to be very safe. Did you already say wear deodorant? Okay, now that's a good one. Speaking of crust punks, wearing deodorant to a show is highly recommended. For my sake, not yours. I saw Rancid in 1994, and back then Rancid was kind of like street punk adjacent. This is before they were popular on MTV, so the only people who kind of knew who Rancid were kind of like Gilman, like Mohawk crust punk type kids. My friends and I walked into the show, and it smelled like ass. It smelled like crust punks, and we were just like, yep, smells like a Rancid show. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I agree. I don't want people spilling their drink on me, but I don't know. I feel like an element of chaos is supposed to, like, shows are supposed to have an element of chaos, I think. I remember a girl pouring a drink on my friend because he danced on her too aggressively. Exactly. Listen, shows should be a little bit threatening. That's what I think. I think a show should be a little bit dangerous. You should be a little bit worried. That's what I think. Okay, now here's the third one. Don't shout through the entire show. Talking to people around you about your shitty workday or your upcoming plans, especially if you have to shout at them, sucks for those who are trying to listen to the performance. Like, really? We're telling people now don't talk too loud at a show? What? I wish I was exaggerating when I said that people apparently now want shows to be like the library. Like, don't talk too loud. Are we going to have a fucking hall monitor shushing people? Like, excuse me, can we use our inside voices? I'm trying to listen to the band. I'm genuinely baffled. Yeah, exactly. Only finger snaps for clapping. Just, can we clap like this? I'm genuinely baffled. Or have I gotten so old? Am I now the boomer that's like complaining about how kids want their safe spaces? Again, listen, back in my day, going to a hardcore show, literally anything can happen at a hardcore show. I don't know. I saw Integrity in like 97, I think, or something like that. And this was the first time they had played a hometown show in a while. And for anybody who doesn't know, Integrity at that time was like a pretty wild band. It was their first hometown show in a couple years. And the lights went out, like the power went out in the middle of their set. And there was a ton of skinheads and stuff there. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was afraid. The lights were out for like a minute or two. And I was genuinely, and it was pitch black in the venue. And I was afraid that skinheads would just fucking start swinging on people or like throwing bottles or something like that. And they didn't, but they could have. I mean, and that's just the kind of thing that could have happened. So the idea that people would now be upset about loud talking is a little wild to me. Don't dance and fall all over others. Again, now this is where we're just like, come on, people, don't dance. I feel like this is like the rules for like, I don't know, a school dance or something like that. Like, yeah, they got to have show monitors with walkie-talkies and badges walking around wagging their finger. Yeah. No, now you're dancing, excuse me, you're dancing a little bit too excessively. Do you guys know Planet Fitness, the gym? So like at Planet Fitness, they will kick you out of the gym if you grunt too loud while you're lifting. Yeah, they have this thing called the lunk alarm, which is real. Like, it's a real thing. It's an alarm that if you're like grunting too loudly when you're lifting at Planet Fitness, they have a fucking alarm that they will sound. This is it.
Ready, bro? Let's get 6 of them, all right? 6.
Here it is. Here comes the lunk alarm. I feel like that's next, is they're going to stop the show because this guy's dancing too exuberantly and talking too loud with his friends. Wait, hold on. Stop the song, everybody. Turn on the lights. You guys over there by the restroom, by the exit over there on the left, come on. Bro, you are dancing way too enthusiastically. You're like an 8. Gonna need you to come down to a 3 if you want this show to keep going. Okay, don't squeeze to get in front of people who are there first. Okay, I do agree this is a dick move. Squeezing to get in front of people who are there first, especially if it's like girls. That's really rude. Like if you're a dude and you like elbow your way in front of girls who were there first, you're a dick. If you're a dude, like a tall dude, and you squeeze in front of like a short guy who got there before you, it's like, well, hey, listen, with all due respect to my short kings out there in the world, survival of the fittest, buddy. It's not my fault that you lost the genetic lottery. That's right. The pit is survival of the fittest. If they can't swim, they're bound to drown. Those are the rules, people. Survival of the fittest. But that is kind of a dick move. Okay, don't make out the whole time. You know, I've only seen this a few times because here's the problem with this rule. This is an article on Loudwire, which means we're sort of talking about metal shows here, right? Do you see the problem? Do you see the reason why this scenario will never occur at a show that Loudwire would cover? Because there are no women who go to these shows. Yeah, what if we kissed at the Watain show? I've seen this a couple times. I've seen a couple like crust punk couple, you know, I've mentioned crust punks a couple times here because crust punks are pretty much always responsible for the worst behavior at shows. Yeah, Dave Mustaine's crusty voice just gets me horny. I'm so wet. Crust punks will literally fuck in public. I remember a friend of mine talking about crust punks fucking at a show. I didn't go there. It's possible he was lying, but I believe it. He was talking to me about some crust punks at some squat, like fucking off in the corner at a show, which I believe it. Make out the whole time. I mean, I don't know. If you want to make out, I think that's kind of cringe, but I don't know, whatever. It makes sense that live music puts some people in a loving mood. That's right. I mean, you go see Infant Annihilator or Dying Fetus and, you know, suddenly you notice you're like, oh, is it hot in here? Is it just me? And the pennies start dropping. That's just how it goes. If you go to the Infant Annihilator show, you might find yourself in the mood. Okay, leave the oversized hats for the Kentucky Derby. Hats are a great way to complement any outfit. Baseball caps, fedoras, and even cowboy hats are totally cool to wear to concerts as long as they aren't completely oversized. It's not a horse race, so leave the floppy hats at home. I'm confused. Yeah, when is this an issue? Now listen, I know I've been kind of critical about this list, but I feel like this is the one thing that we can all agree on, right? I mean, fellas in the chat, let me know, how many times has a metal show been ruined by somebody showing up in a floppy hat, a sombrero? Exactly. You're like, God damn it, everybody at the Megadeth show had to wear their sombrero? Really? Now I can't see? Ugh, this does it for me. I demand a refund. If one more show gets ruined by oversized hats, I'm over it. Okay, don't start a fight is their next tip. I halfway agree with this one. I'm actually pro fighting at shows, but with some exceptions, okay? Here's the rules of engagement with fighting at shows is it's just the same as war. You cannot hurt civilians. As long as you're fighting other people who are there to fight, it's all good. Again, me growing up, going to hardcore shows, like at a hardcore show, if you go to a hardcore show and it looks like this, you sort of know what you're getting yourself into. If you go to this show and someone, you know, is dancing a little bit hard and they punch you in the face and you get in a fight, it's like, well, you know, what are you going to do? Sometimes people go to these shows just to fight. And if you don't want to fight, you know, maybe stay home. That's how I feel about it. However, where it's not cool is when people target people who don't want to be part of it. Crowd killing. Like, for example, like this. I don't know what show this is, but this is not cool. Looks like some shitty little local hardcore show. There's this girl just sort of walking by. This fucking dick here kicks her in the face and then punches her. That shit's not cool. I understand if he accidentally kicked her, that's one thing. Like, I get it. If it was an actual accident kicking her, that's one thing. But it's not, because he looks at her and then he punches her right afterwards. This guy should get beaten within an inch of his life. In my opinion, like, especially if you hit a girl at a show, that dude should have instantly gotten rat packed and put in the hospital and gone to jail for it. That's what I think. That shit's not cool. That said, you know, if it's that irate show and everyone wants to fucking dance hard and fight, I have no problem with it. So I do not agree with this. Again, I think it's good for shows to be a little bit violent. That's what I think. Women, children, and animals are always off limits. That is true. You know, also like little kids. Yeah, like if someone like 14-year-old shows up that doesn't know what's happening, like, that's not cool. But I don't know. I don't really have a problem with people fighting each other. If you want to fight, then fight. I don't give a shit. Don't yell obscenities at the performer. Okay, here's some more hall monitor shit. Whether you paid for the concert ticket or you were dragged there by someone else, don't shout obscenities at the performer, even if you absolutely hate them. They're up on stage in a vulnerable position trying to entertain a crowd. They don't need someone yelling things at them that could distract them or throw them off their performance. Listen, again, I am from, you know, the punk rock, the hardcore school of things. I say, if you want to get up on stage and fucking yell shit and grab the mic, then fucking get up on stage and yell shit at them and grab the mic. However, if you do that, you can't be upset. If you're going to get up there and be an asshole to them, you can't be upset if they're an asshole back to you. For example, people got upset about this years ago. The story so far, lead singer drop kicks a girl off stage. Drop kicks her. So here's what it was. So this girl gets up on stage to take a selfie, and she's hanging out there a little bit too long. You'll see. She's hanging out a little bit too long. I mean, it's a little bit of a dick move of him, but I mean, Parker Cannon, not known for being like a nice person, let's put it that way. You're never going to find anyone who's like, oh, Parker Cannon, he's a great guy. What a fun-loving, friendly person. The guy who sings about his anger issues was mean. Yeah. Number two, it's like, she's fine. He just sort of like pushed her into the crowd again. He like the way they talked about drop kicking her, it's like he wound up and kicked her in the face. He just like pushed her back into the crowd. She's fine. So the way I feel about it, if you're going to get up on stage and take a selfie, or you're going to get up on stage and grab the mic or something like that, like, that's cool. You can do that. But then the singer might also like push you off the stage or call you names back. And, you know, that's just the way it goes. I feel like it's fair game to heckle people on stage. I really do. You know, is it a dick move? A little bit, but I think it's fair. I think it's fair game to heckle people. The thing is, they might heckle you back. If you're going to yell shit at them, you know, don't be surprised if they yell shit back. For the love of fuck, don't throw things at the stage. Yeah, I agree with this one. For example, Baby Rexha on stage a couple months ago.
Down the stage, a concert goer threw a cell phone.
I mean, that's fucked up. Like, hit her right in the fucking eye.
A concert goer threw a cell phone from the audience.
That's not cool. Like, why would you do that? That's not cool. Now, if you want to like throw, I don't know, French fries at them or, you know, something like that, I think that's fine. I have no problem with that. Now, again, here's the thing, though. If you throw French fries at someone for a joke, they might not think it's funny, and they might jump off stage and punch you in the fucking face, in which case, I don't feel bad for you. Here's what I think about shows in general. I feel like this is a very hall monitor list. I think that shows should be, I don't want to say lawless, but relaxed laws. Let's put it that way. I feel like if you go to a show, you should understand that you're sort of entering Lord of the Flies a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, nobody should be like getting stabbed or something like that. Nobody should be getting like permanently fucked up. Yeah, 3 stars of notoriety. Yes. Nobody should be getting permanently fucked up, but, you know, maybe you're going to get a bloody nose, or maybe someone's going to tear your shirt off, or maybe someone's going to, like, throw a drink at you. That's how it should be. That's what I think. I think it should be a little bit dangerous. Now, I'll tell you one thing in particular that I would like to see a lot more of at shows is butt stuff. A couple years ago, you saw this story, the mosher poops in the pit at a Turnstile concert. I'm on board with this. I don't know whatever happened, but apparently somebody shat in the pit. I'm on board with this. There should be more of this kind of thing. More poop shows. I'm on board with that. Imagine you wake up and see the entire West Coast talking about you shitting on the floor at the turnstile shows. I want to know, who is this king and what is the story behind this? I don't know. The other one that I'm on board with is this from back in April here. Someone farting at the Sleep Token show. It's a little bit hard to hear, but listen carefully. During this meaningful, profound moment of a Sleep Token song, someone decided it was a good time to let one rip. I'm on board with that. More of that, more poop, more farts. Yeah, so I guess my thoughts on this list overall, man, I'm not on board with it. I'm not on board with it unless we're talking about going to see, I don't know, Ariana Grande or Chainsmokers. Yes, this is an appropriate list of rules for a Chainsmokers show. But if we're talking about metal or hardcore shows or something, I'm not on board with it. If anything, I feel like we need a little bit more danger at shows. No more hall monitors, no finger wagging, no Karens. I say more chaos, more danger. That's what I think. Bring it on. We need more assholes at shows. That's what I think. Oh, I'll tell you this before I let you go. Here's the most asshole thing I've ever seen at a show. This was Warped Tour 98, I think. Maybe it was 99. It was whatever year Blink played. There was this one crust punk kid that I knew who was always like just getting absolutely fucking obliterated at shows and doing crazy shit. And so it was at Warped Tour 99 or 98. He was shit-faced by like 2 p.m. and he goes into the porta potty and he comes out and he has a bloody tampon stuck to his forehead. And he just walked around like that for like a while. And he would just go up to people like, hey, what's going on? Like a group of girls standing there and they'd be like, hi. And then they'd notice what was on his forehead and they'd be like, ew, and freak out. Hey, I'm not saying it's a cool thing to do, but I'm just saying it was a good story. Let's put it this way. Do you want to go to a show and see that guy, or do you want to see a bunch of guys, you know, standing around with their hands in their pockets, whispering quietly to each other? That's what I think. I want more chaos, not less. So there it is. 10 ways to not be an a-hole at concerts. I suggest that you do none of them. Everybody at the Megadeth show had to wear their sombrero. Really?